Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Intrinsic podcast. I am your host here, Dave. Go by Spiral at Spiral Talks. So tonight I have a fun concept, trippy theory, if you will. Call it chain memories. So I was thinking about this earlier today. So then the concept of chain memories, it's like you have a story or a situation, or you remember watching a show before, or you have a moment in life where you've done something. So okay, I'll use this basic form. Say there's a show that you watched in your youth or at some previous time in life. Okay, I watched that show. I remember the show. I remember the moments and energy I felt at that time when I had the show. The time that I watched that show is kind of irrelevant. And then now, if you're going to meet somebody new in time in life, and they're like, hey, I seen that show as well, your energy's kind of linked with you and that person. Even though you weren't doing the same thing at the same moment in time, you were able to feel the same expression of that moment in separate time frames. As there seems to be like a realm of like oneness in that, where it's like, sorry, there's a realm of oneness, a connectivity between both yourself and the other individual on whatever topic it was. So to give an example of that, it's like, I guess for me, I watched DBZ. A lot of people watch Dragon Ball Z. And I don't know this person who I may be talking to. I have no idea of their story, of their existence, or anything like that. We happen to link on Dragon Ball Z. And it's like, that memory chain that me and that person have connects us. It creates a bind between me and them, because we have a point of intersection, a relevance point between their life and my life. But when you look at it on a grandiose scale of like people who have linked thoughts, concepts, stories, minds in that same degree, it's like all of our concepts are linked within that same chain. That chain was technically, the deeper thing is existing together in the same time frame, or existing relatively within the same time frame, because some of those chain memories, some of the stories, like childhood songs and rhymes that we learned, like, were from way back in the day, but we all know this and we have chain memories to them. But the chain memory that I was using as this example, so it's like, I watched DBZ. The person I'm talking to watched DBZ, and we're able to connect to each other on that. Now there's all these other people who also watch DBZ at any point in time in life, and we're like, oh, I know this as well. There's like a subconscious realm of knowing each other that is obtained through the knowledge of the thing that you both have in separate realms. Like, I think that construct is a very deep and intrinsic realm of our separate yet combined existences. We're all combined in different ways and different variations. It's like, even using that slight past analogy that I was, or past formative analogy that I was using, of songs, tales, and stories that we heard as children. Even folklore kind of falls in that degree, because it's like folklore, religion, there's a whole bunch of things that kind of function on that degree, I guess, if you look at it from that degree. But it's that chain link. All of these moments, all those separate, can link to each other throughout time. And the expression between them can be relatively similar to every generation of person, depending on what was expressed and how well it was perceived by the individual. Let's say a good 9 out of 10 times you're going to have people who have a similar experience to a particular thing if it was taken or if it was given in the same way and then they perceived it. Like I would say 9 out of 10%, 9 out of 10 people, 90% of people perceive things in those moments of the same degree. And there's that beauty, that connectivity that we have, that it's an added connection to our subconscious collective understanding of each other. It's that we have chain moments that link us to each other, chain memories of things, chain memories of states of mind or states of being that we all share in a function with each other. Because think of it in the degree that you have a moment in your time frame that can be relatable to somebody. It can be relatable to a lot of people, but it has an intrinsic value that we can all perceive and understand the same way. It allows us the ability to know that we are a lot more connected than we choose to perceive. Even me myself, like I don't assume that people can't perceive the things that I say. I assume that people have the capacity 100% to perceive the things that I say. It's just, do they perceive it or not? That comes down to individual circumstance and situation, but it's like the memory of the moment exists within people, and sometimes the energy existence of other people they themselves don't want to perceive things within such a realm or such a depth because it will make them think it's like it's within that realm of ego concept of like, if you think the same thing that other people think, does that make you less or more? I would say that it makes you more, but on a grandiose scale of like, it's more because it's all the more. Perspectives that I have seen through my lifetime growing up. Granted, there's a lot of things that I've been learning to see and I've been viewing as subject to change, is that we are beginning to perceive those subconscious levels and realms more of where we connect, where we intersect. And like the most basic forms are like the simplistic things. The most simplistic chain memories is, I woke up. Ultimate chain memory. I went to sleep. I woke up. We all have that feeling. We all connect through that. But the conversation to each other isn't as expansive. I think as we progress throughout time now, we're starting to increase our knowledge of both past, present, and future towards each other, which is increasing our understanding of that realm of chain memories. Our chain memories are becoming more combined, more connected, more intrinsically inclined towards each other. And that beauty is the beauty of what makes us us. That beauty of what connects us to each other and everything simultaneously, because that is what we all are. We are an amalgamation of all that is squished into individuals that send that information to other individuals and then back to the self, which is a connectivity of all of the things, because it's like anything I do, but people know. Other individuals know, other things know. And those other things know, send me the information back that it knows that I know, because I can perceive a thing being there. Perceive this phone being a phone, this phone being in front of me, to perceive me perceiving it. And without this phone being here, I can't perceive the phone, but the phone also can't perceive me. So what would be there? But we are, and this is. So the fact that it is a link of a memory. And then from there, it's all now connected to everybody's ability to connect. Because anyone can see this. Anyone can perceive this for the fact that it is. If it wasn't, then it never happened. But it is. And it will continue to be. And those chain moments, those chain memories, that connectivity is one of the most beautiful things that we have as existences. Because, like, I could say beings, but existences makes more sense, because when we say beings, we look at beings as things that are cognitive and that can perceive information and can send it back. But when you really take it in, rocks, trees, air takes in information and it sends it back to us. Because I can feel air right now on my skin. I can feel air moving around the room. I can understand that it's there. I can feel the fluctuation of the heat, the cold, and the energy moving around. And for me doing that, I'm also sending that information. Like, it's sending information to touch me, and I'm sending information to it for it to know that I'm here, that it's being touched. And there is that realm that all energy connects to each other. Everything connects to each other through a chain of memory. There's a chain of existence, consistency. Thank you. Thanks for hopping in. But there's a chain of existence. There's a chain of energy that transfers from one thing to another thing, that sends information back. Anything that we do, it's a memory form, because as we do things, we do it in the present. But as we progress in the present, everything beyond that is past. Everything becomes a chain memory. So a moment I had with a rock, okay, that's that moment I had with that rock. But that moment I had with that rock is that moment only between me and that rock, until I come across another individual who had a moment with that rock, or with that rock, or with another rock, or had a moment similar to it. And that's that moment of that memory. It's the beauty of the fact that we are all so connected, and we are learning to build our connection more, much deeper, and we're establishing a beauty within each other, within the consistency of that which is life, that which is the ever infinite expanding infinity. And the more we appreciate, pay attention, give value to not only ourselves in those moments, but to the other things and the other moments that happen to other things, that beauty expands. That beauty becomes more vibrant. The vibrancy of life, the vibrancy of existence is more expansive, and it's more enveloped. There's more of an expansion of that love feeling, that love energy, because there's nothing that can undo or subdue the value of that which is, because everything is based off of that. Because, like, we exist off of a state of love, of just existent love. We're here. I am here. You are here. Okay. You were loved by everything to be here. Therefore, everything made you. As much as you make everything else. As you are here, because you are here, therefore you being here allows you to make more for everything. And that beauty, that connectivity is like a wonderful value, something that's not as openly appreciated. Trying to bring that, I guess, the view of that more so to the mind's eye of others, because we all see these things, but we don't take the time to appreciate the things that exist in that degree. And it's things like that, appreciating things like that and noticing things like that more in life that allow you to enjoy your life, but also appreciate and enjoy the lives of the other things that exist around you, because you can look and be like, hey, these things are things. Like that rock didn't have to be there, but it was. And it's like the beauty of that rock being there is the most basic yet absolute form of love and existence. That appreciation, that respect that we have, and we're growing even more as every day goes on. We're growing it more and more, expanding it more and more, connecting it more and more, is an absolute beautiful thing. Our transitioning points throughout Earth time has been such a wonderful experience, because this is our version of understanding this via Earth to all that is. We can perceive this, but this has already been perceived. Things have already been perceived. Things were perceived before we were even conceived. And that beauty, that conception, that beauty of the conception of that existence is something to hold with a wonderful regard, to embrace that. Understanding things like those and appreciating things like those allow us to like take in the value of life more. That's what I feel the basis of life is to appreciate those things. It allows us to be more enjoying of life and then add more to the creations that are in life, because we all sit here and say, or I guess I've heard it before, but I've never believed it to be true. It's like, or everyone's thought of something, or everyone's idea, or this or that. Like, there is an infinite realm of imaginativism. Us being here is a part of that realm of imaginativism. The universe had to be imaginative to create all of this, for that to be imaginative to create all of us. So it's like, that's the base root. You can't stop that. Things will keep creating. Things will keep creating. Constantly keep creating. Constantly keep creating. And it's beautiful, because it's like we each have our own beautiful way of being able to create in our own ways. Those songs like to give, I guess, a humanistic perspective of the chain memories concept. It's like what we can create. Someone comes up with a show or an idea or a book or this or that. Like, it's our human form of creativity that created a chain memory that we're all able to look at and be like, whoa, we're all connected through this thing. But because of that thing, now it adds more creativity, because we all get to embrace that beauty of someone else's creativity, because, oh my God, that person came up with this idea. Bam. We're all connected in that degree. But all of us will constantly create something. As we exist, we all have our own individual perspective of seeing and perceiving things. So we're going to see something and be like, hey, and then that's our idea. That's our way. That's our growth. That's our thought. And we'll make it. And as we progress in time, like, it's going to be more based on that. We're going to be more like, Ah, I thought of something, boom. Oh, I thought of something, boom. Oh, and like it's just gonna be fast creation, fast thought, and then it expands even more because it can get to hyper crazy levels of depth. So like large scale energy based things can create large scale energy based things beyond that. And that's the beauty of that expansion. We have that creative capacity to create these memories, to create these energies. Thanks for joining. To create these energies, to create these paths, this growth, this expanded fun. Because I will look at it as fun. Because it's like the time you sit to create and think about things, it's fun. While you're creating something, it's a fun moment. While you're in a moment where you get to experience something somebody else created. So watching a show, you're creating that link in that chain memory that you have to somebody else. It's a fun time because if you enjoyed it, you're like, whoa, I like this. Like I was watching a basketball game earlier. Um, Hopefully the Raptors win. I didn't look as great as when I left. They weren't going too hot, but hey, I want the Raptors to win, but at the same time, whoever wins. But it's like there's that chain memory. Who else saw that game at the same time as I did? Who was watching it at that same time? We have chain memories. We all observed it in that same time. And that game itself was creative in itself because the players were playing and each of them had to move to be like, whoa, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. Oh, I got to do this. So they're creating new moments, new energies, new boundaries. And it's beautiful for that perspective. It'll never not be beautiful. And that's why it always expands. It expands infinitely in that realm of beauty and expansion. That's so what I perceive the universe has always wanted, which is just to keep growing and keep creating more links of chain memories that connect us all back. Because there's probably a mental divisible way of being able to calculate things back to source, obviously, because like we know where the source of the universe is. I perceive that we do, and to be honest, I think we all feel where the source of the universe is because it's like it's the start point of gravity. We don't really fully feel it in that degree, but like via meditation, things like that, you kind of feel it in those little outer body experiences. But it's like we are connected to that, and that energy explains us, but embraces us, and we enjoy it as much as it is love, and we love it. Right? But it's through our memories. I would consider it all as like present, or I'd say it's through our memories that we can easily establish a connection to each other. Having moments in time, having moments in life, similar experiences to other people. Those times, those moments allow us to connect into a deeper level to each other, which allows us to expand more energy by using each other's energies to grow from that. And we can expand more energy going outwards. These bases of life, these realms of existence that we all perceive and enjoy with each other are some of the most sublime and beautiful things to perceive. And I guess as this is just a concept that kind of came to my mind earlier today, it's like I'm glad to kind of talk about this, to kind of bring up something that we all feel and know, but to actually look at as one of the most sublime and wondrous things that we have, the beauty of being able to experience together. And I am glad that I have the luxury of the experience to experience it with all of you. Because it's always love. It's always the expansion of love. All right, everybody. That was my rant on Shane memories. You'll catch me. I know. This podcast I kind of did a little late by a day and a bit. Like I've got the shoulder neck thing going on. Can't really turn my head, but I enjoyed this, and you can catch me back here next Wednesday. I'll aim for generally the idea is Wednesday, so it'll be next Wednesday at 9 p.m. You can catch me here on at Spiral Talks, and it will be the Intrinsic Podcast. You can also check out our YouTube channel at the Intrinsic Podcast or Intrinsic Podcast for all of our past episodes, edits, and clips. All right, everybody, I have a wonderful time enjoying this concept, this little theory. If it makes sense to you guys, and if like the vibe of the concept is like really trippy, let's just bring up a discussion, because like these are all theories that are in my mind, and like I just like bringing them up, just talk about these things to converse with the ether. So if you guys think any of these things are really cool, you like the vibe of the concepts and this and that, shoot me a shot. I enjoy hearing the conversation. I like having conversations, deep, intrinsic conversations. All right. Well, as I always say, put a positive spin on a negative spiral and have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful night. Take care.